Hello everybody, and welcome to the August 1st, 2019 edition of the Disneyland Magical Audio Tour YouTube vlog update. I have a lot of things to share with you. I've made a lot of progress over the month of July on my never-ending project of adding more content to the Magical Audio Tour. But I also have a few other things I want to share with you that are going to be happening in the month of August. So let's get started. First of all, I just want to remind everybody about Patreon. We have a Patreon account, and on there we offer special rewards to our supporters depending on what level of support you pledge. And we have a audio content every month. We have an exclusive podcast for Patreon subscribers only at the $10 level or higher. And we also have video commentaries where we watch classic Disney shorts and classic episodes of the Disney Anthology program and provide a running commentary. So be sure to check out our Patreon rewards by going to Patreon at DisneyChris.com. We have a special announcement for the month of August. First of all, we will not be releasing any Dateline Jiminy Crickets episodes on YouTube for the month of August, because Ruthie is actually going away at the end of the month, and we have sort of a desire to wait until after the D23 convention before we do any more news, because it's sort of going to be a game changer, and we don't want to report on news and then everything's going to change on what we've reported after D23. So we decided to take a little break for the month of August. Now, if you're not familiar with the Dateline Jiminy Crickets podcast, it's on this very same YouTube channel, and normally we release a new episode every 2 weeks, and it's specifically a news program. It's all the latest news in the Walt Disney Company, theme parks, movies, and anything else pertaining to Disney throughout the world. And that's sort of our outlet for current events. But then we also have a podcast just called Jiminy Crickets, which is more of a historical look at the Disney Company. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. But just keep in mind that in early September, we will be returning with brand new episodes of Dateline Jiminy Crickets. Now, speaking of D23, for those who don't know, there's going to be a D23 Expo in Anaheim at the end of August. And Ruthie, the co-hostess with the mostess on my two podcasts, is going to be at the D23 Expo, and we ordered a bunch of buttons, and she will be handing out Jiminy Crickets buttons. And here's a picture of one of our buttons. And so if you spot Ruthie, she'll be wearing, at least on one of the days of the convention, she'll be wearing a Jiminy Crickets t-shirt. So look out for her. And if you mention Jiminy Crickets or DisneyChris.com, she'll hand you a free button. Now, even though we're not doing any Dateline episodes for August, we are releasing 2 brand new episodes of our regular podcast. And these are the 2 upcoming shows. In fact, the first show, our top 35 songs from Walt Disney live-action films, is being released today, August 1st. And this is one of our very popular music episodes. Now, we don't usually show our music episodes on YouTube because it gets flagged for copyright. So you will be able to hear that episode on our regular podcast feed. Just go to Jiminy Crickets slash blogspot.com, and you'll find my podcast feed. Or you can also go to the home page of my disneychris.com website, and there's a link to the podcast right there on the home page if you just scroll down a little bit. Now, in late August, we will also have a brand new podcast celebrating the 55th anniversary of Mary Poppins. So even though we will not have any Dateline shows for August, we will have these two regular shows of our audio podcast. Now, I try to post the podcasts, our audio podcasts, on the YouTube channel whenever possible. But when I feel like the content might get flagged for copyright, because YouTube is really particular about it, I won't bother posting it. So the real reason I wanted to mention these two episodes that are coming up is because they will not be on the YouTube channel. And if you normally look for these shows on YouTube, you'll have to go over to my website and look for the link to the regular podcast feed, and you'll be able to listen to these two shows over there. Mary Poppins will be coming out in the third week of August, towards the end of the month, during when the D23 convention is going on. Maybe if you have some downtime at D23, you might want to listen to it to pass some time while you're waiting for something or whatnot. So you can look forward to those two podcasts in August. Now, speaking of our top 35 live action films, we decided to do something special with the music that we're featuring on that episode, which is covering the years from 1949 to 1979, all of the great music that's been featured in Walt Disney live action films. So, for our Patreon subscribers, we decided to create a special collection, and we're calling it Songs from Walt Disney Live Action Films. And in addition to the 35 songs being featured on the regular podcast, I'm adding an additional 15 songs, so there'll be a total of 50 songs, 50, in this audio-only collection. It's going to be like an album of 50 songs from Walt Disney's live action films. And this is going to be a special reward just for our Patreon subscribers at the $5 level or higher. And so if you register as a Patreon subscriber at the $5 level or higher during the month of August or September, you will receive this bonus audio collection if you're at the $5 level or higher. And this is extra special because normally these special bonus audio collections are only for those at the $10 level or higher. But as a special promotion, we're going to give this particular one to any of those that pledge at the $5 level. So $5 level or higher during the month of August or September. So think about supporting what we do, because not only are you helping us to bring you all of our free content, but you will also reap the rewards of all these special things that we offer those who support our magic. So, let's talk about why you actually came to this show, and that's the Disneyland Magical Audio Tour. And over the month of July, I did a lot of work on the Disneyland Hotel chapter, which I'm going to show you right now. As you know, in the past months I was working on this as well, and I added quite a bit since the last time. Basically everything up to track 25 was already done, but I added all of the audio for this entire section, which is called the Magic Kingdom Club. And these are a series of films or videos, because it goes further back than VHS, that showcase sort of the Disney resorts worldwide, including Disneyland, And it was a promotion that was tied into the Magic Kingdom Club, which used to be a vacationing savings club for members of big corporate organizations that participated. At one time, it was the largest vacation club in the United States. It was disbanded in 2000, but it was around for decades. And anyway, every year they'd send out a special promotional film for the employers to show their employees in order to entice them to become members of this club. So I have several of them. I have one from 1980, 1989, and I added another one. I didn't have the 1990 one before, and I found it and I added it. And then they started to have fun little themes every year, as you can see by these Detective Mick, Discover a New World, Be Our Guest. They each had a theme every year. And I found another one at the tail end, the 1996. I didn't have that one before, and I added that one in. So I pretty much have all of them, because I think they stopped making the videos after 96. So this whole section was completed, and it took a long time because it was a lot of cleanup involved. It took a couple weeks to get this section done. I also added a really fun mix. It's poolside recreation area background music. This is the type of music they would play at the former outdoor sandy beach area at the Disneyland Hotel. And it's all 1960s sand and surf type. Beach Boys, Annette, that type of beachy music. She wore a yellow polka dot bikini. That's one of the songs. So anything that ties into California, summer, beach, surf. And it's almost an hour and a half long, and it's a really fun oldies, 60s mix. Speaking of which, I decided to go back and redo another track, which is already on the website, called the, let me find it before I go into it. Oh, here it is. The Hotel Coffee Shop, Monorail Cafe. Currently, the track is 23 minutes long, and what it is, it's like 1950s oldies, because in the 80s, they turned the long existing, it was actually added in the 50s, coffee shop near the monorail station into a monorail themed sort of retro 50s diner in the 80s, and they changed the name to the Monorail Cafe. And as you can see from the mural in this picture, it gave it a whole monorail retro 50s look. And they also played 50s music on a jukebox when you were inside. So I decided to expand my mix of 50s music into a 2.5 hour mix of 1950s rock and roll, and it's all the classics: Elvis, Little Richard, Fats Domino, you name it. All the legends of the 50s rock and roll era, and probably their most famous songs are included. So I'm currently editing that one, and that one should be available in a few days. So look for that very soon. So, in addition, I added this pop-up Disney, a Mickey celebration, and I mentioned it in my last video, but this is a point of interest because they announced that in September they're going to be closing this. So this is going to be a Yesterland attraction very soon. So it'll still always be on my website, though. So if you want to remember Pop-Up Disney and Mickey Celebration, you'll always be able to come here and listen to all the music that they played at this pop-up selfie-taking venue. Speaking of which, let's look at the Disneyland Anniversary chapter. because I finished my entire brand new section on that chapter, which is devoted to Mickey Mouse's 90th birthday. And I talked about this again in the last episode of this show, but I want to mention it again because now it's completed. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tracks. They're all available now. And these are all things that have to do with the 90th birthday celebration of Mickey, which has sort of been phased out. And they had a whole Get Your Ears On thing, and now they're sort of moving on to other promotions at this point. So this is sort of already a Yesterland thing, but you'll always find it on my site. And I have added, since the last update, this Get Your Ears On Tomorrowland Terrace Dance Party, which is an hour and a half of dance music, you know, contemporary club dance type music. And it's all music that they authentically played at this event. I went on YouTube and I had to look through several videos to sort of figure out all the actual songs that they used at this party event. And then I also added Mickey's Mix Magic, the projection after hours show, which sometimes I guess had fireworks included, which is also a Yesterland thing. They're no longer running it. But I have this completed, and it's now available on this chapter and also on my Disneyland After Dark page. So, I kept the update a little brief this time, but I have a lot of work I'm going to get done in August, so I'll have a lot to report back to you on the September update, and we will be back to our normal schedule of Dateline, Jiminy Cricket shows, and whatnot. So I hope you enjoy the dog days of summer, and I will see you all again a month from now. Bye-bye.